Okay, in this tutorial, I'm going to show you really quick here how to test emails, actually specifically the tokens in an email, because it's easy to test an email. You can just go in here and compose and then click send the test as myself, but that will only test if this email can be delivered. It will not create a test of this link here, this make a payment. It will just be a blank. You know, if you copy this link, see what I mean? It just says bill pay token. It's just a placeholder. It's a placeholder that the backend server will use to replace it with a real token. But when you're sending it as a test, it doesn't do anything. It won't fill it in. The test that it mentions here is only to test if the email can be received. Right? So the real test here that you might want to do if you're going to test if the tokens work is you need to add yourself you need to create a customer user that you can play with and test with. The second reason you want to have a separate customer user is because that way you can open up, like in another browser, you can click those links and not have it interfere with your main login, because otherwise it might log you out. All right, so right now we've got this one user, the main user, the primary user on this Amy's Bird Sanctuary. And they're going to receive billing notifications. If I click on compose an email, that's who the recipient's going to be. Let me just see that again, along with one admin copy. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is create a new user, and this can be on, you could do this on any customer, it doesn't matter which one. And you only have to do this one time, just so that the user record itself gets created. So let's create one on here. It has to be obviously be one that isn't in use. So let me try. I think I've got an alias here that will work for the purpose of this test. It did. Okay, so we have that one, and I'm going to just send it an invite email. I don't need the invite, but I just want to make sure it's working. I've got my inbox open on another monitor, so we'll just check that in a minute. Okay, so now that I've created this record and it's bound to this customer, just to prove to you that the way that this works, if I don't want to, I'm done testing, or I don't want to use this, I don't want to have this test account bound to here anymore, I can just go in here and remove. Now, I didn't delete the user record still exists, and so now if I was to just go back into this record like I wanted to test again, now I don't have to type it in again. I will just put the name. Oh, wait, there it is. I'm already a record. You know, it's already created. And there it is. So now I'm back in. It's really that simple to add and remove yourself from accounts that you want to test on. All right, I got the invite, so I know it's working. So now I can do testing. Now I can do testing on this customer record. I can even get those tokens, and I can make sure it works. What I always do if I'm testing on an account, you don't have to, is I always disable the real users on it, so that I don't accidentally send them an email. You know, so that if I was to go here and do the test, right? Like if I say go here and actually say send an invoice now, I don't want them to get a copy of that test either. So I just, as a matter of, you know, methodology, I disable the other ones. I just don't want them getting any emails, and it's just easier to test with. And so, best way to test, just go to the compose an email, and I don't need to get a copy to myself since I'm the one getting this test, and I don't need any copies of the invoices, although you can do that too if you want to make sure that works. And now this will really work. Now since I'm actually a user on this account, when I send this out, it really is going to create a token, and it's going to be for me. So if I click on tokens, this just got created a couple seconds ago. This is the one for my user record. If I go to emails, let's see. That's the one this is the email that just went out. All right. That's old. All right. So I'm over here on my other monitor, just checking, and there's the email. All right, I got it. So I'm able to open that email. I just copied the link instead of clicking on it. That way I can go into, I've got another browser window open here just to show you what happens. So I'm going to copy and paste that link from that email just to make sure it's working. It works. All right, there's my test. So I know that the token's working. And I just go ahead and log out. And let's move that out of the way again. If I refresh the email history, I can see that I did click on it. That means the token really works. All right. And if the reason why it doesn't show the opened one is because in my browser I didn't say display external links. I'll do that right now. I just did that, and I think, yeah, I just refresh it, and now it shows that I opened it as well. You don't have to do that. Just, again, if you just want to make sure everything works, then go through all the motions, make sure it's really doing it. All right, so let's go back over to users. And since I clicked on the link in less than 30 minutes, it's going to show me as trusted, and it also recorded a cookie in my browser. So when you are doing these tests, these are things that you want to just make sure that they're functioning. Let me move that browser back over again. So that means that since I'm trusted, if I copy that same link again, it will work. It'll still log me in, even though I already consumed the token once. I've got that trusted cookie recorded already in my browser, and it exists on the account, as you can see here. So I'll log out again. So that works. Again, these are just some of the tests you'll probably want to try. That works. If I refresh, it won't change anything. But you will see in the access tokens, now there's 2. It regenerated another token when it did that. All right, so let's go back to users. And just to test one more thing, what happens if I revoke the trust? It doesn't make it so that they can't log in at all. It just means that they won't get the trust back until they have clicked on a token link in the email and it's less than 30 minutes old. So if I try to use the token again now, it will not work. All right. So I'd have to go here and say, send me a new token to my inbox. And then, and only then, will it let me do it again. Okay, so that's the quick way to do this testing, making sure that your tokens work. And then when you're done, here's what you do. You're done testing, so you want to just go ahead and re-enable billing notifications for your real users, and then just remove yourself from that account, and now everything's back to normal, and your users didn't get interrupted or interfered with or sent a bunch of emails that you didn't want them to get. So it's a great way to just test without, it doesn't hinder anything and mess with your users or do anything like that. It just lets you do some quick testing and then turn it off. All right, so that's it. That's how you test your auto login tokens.